Hi guys, if you like this video, smash that like button. Click subscribe because that really helps us to bring you new videos. And don't forget to click the bell or you might miss out on our new stuff when it comes out. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you.
Drew from Mission RV Services here to tell you about a product that we've recently learned about. We've been seeing ads on Facebook for a product called AIRLOCK. It's supposed to help control odors and things in your RV. So I've been reading a little bit about it, and then not too long ago AIRLOCK reached out to us and asked if we would test and review their product for them. And you know how we are about air quality. We're always telling you about keeping your ACs clean. So for us, this just seemed like a no-brainer to try this out. If it's something that works well, you know, that's fantastic and seems affordable. So we figured, why not go ahead, get this from AIRLOCK, install it, try it out, and then let you know what we thought about it. So, but we're going to take you through the whole process. We just got these babies in, and let's do an unboxing and we'll show you what comes with it. So we get a card. It just says thank you for choosing AIRLOCK from the founder. Looks like it has a 2-year warranty. It has a QR code that you can scan if you have questions, and a 30-day guarantee. So pretty neat. Check out the AIRLOCK website. We'll put that link below and you can read more about it. Comes with a caution card. It just says to make sure you turn your power off before you work with this. So this is a 120 volt system, we know that, and so you definitely are going to want to turn your power off before you put your digits up in the ceiling and try to hook this up. So make sure you got your power off, but a good caution card, always a good reminder. So here is our unit. Okay, so what we know about AIRLOCK, we'll talk about that right now. So if you see here, it's going to tell you you have airflow. So what AIRLOCK recommends is that you install this at the exhaust side of your air conditioner. So what that means is where the air is blowing down, you want that air to flow over these ion emitters. So this is where the magic happens on the AIRLOCK. So think about a filter. So the filter can only catch so many particulates and dirt and things. So what this does is the ion emitters, they take those particles and they clump them in together larger. So it's basically making it mash up, and it lets those filters work better, and this allows that to happen. So it basically is charging some of that air, and it eliminates those odors. If you want a better description, go to the AIRLOCK website, and there is so much information and data on this, it's pretty impressive. So what we care about is, does it work? We are going to mount this against the wall right below where our fan discharges. Now you have 2 wires here. You have a red and a black. So this is a 120 volt application. So generally in 120 volt applications, you'll have a black wire that's hot and you'll have a white wire that's a neutral or a negative. But what we're going to be doing is, in this application, the red wire is going to be our hot wire, and the black wire is going to hook to a neutral source, not a ground, but a neutral. Okay, so for us, we do not have a box. So some ACs, we're going to be doing this on a Coleman AC today. So we're going to clip these ends off and strip these wires back and use WAGO connectors, which we'll show you when we get inside. But we are going to hook our power line into our constant power of our pigtail on our Coleman AC. And the reason we're doing that is because AIRLOCK recommends that you hook this into a source that only comes on when that fan or that AC is running. Because otherwise, if you hook this into a constant power source, then the AIRLOCK is going to be on all the time. So can you do it that way? Yes. AIRLOCK states in their instructions that you can totally do it that way, but we want to get as much life out of these AIRLOCKs as possible. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to hook this into our constant power of our pigtail, for our AC that only gets power when the AC is active. So if the fan is on, or if it's, you know, doing AC things, blowing cold air. And then we'll go into our power supply from our fuse panel, and we'll hook our black wire into our white neutral wire. So you're going to hook this into a black, this is going to be hooked into a white, so it'll be a constant neutral. So that's how we're going to do it. Now you can hook these into straight into the box and have constant power to this. They say that's fine, but we're going to try to get as much life out of this unit as we can. That's their recommendation, so we're going to follow the recommendations as close as we can today. And another thing we're going to be doing, or warn you about, is when this does have power going to it, when there's power in it and you're looking up at this, you do not want to touch these. So you don't want to stick your fingers in there and touch on these ion emitters, because there is a shock risk to it. So just remember that. You don't want these touching metal or anything like that. There's plenty of cable on here, it looks like. We'll cut that off. We'll show you a little bit more once we get inside how much cable there is. Okay, so talking about mounting, there's a couple ways you can mount this. So one is they give you this bar, and you can stick this bar, if you have a good spot, something metal that you can stick it to up in the area. We don't really have a good spot to stick this to anything. It's got 3M tape behind it, and you can stick it up there. They say if you do use this, once you get it applied, press on it for about 15-20 seconds, and then let it sit for about 10 minutes so that glue bonds well that's on this tape. And then they give you these two magnets on the back here, so it would stick right to it. Or you have another way you can do it, which we're going to do today, is you have these two slots right here, because we're going to be mounting it against the wall like so, and then the air will pass down over it. So we're going to be mounting it with a couple screws today that do come in the kit too. These are small screws. I'm probably going to use a little bit longer screw. These are about, look like 1/2 inch. We're probably going to use like a 1-inch screw, just so we get a good bite, because we travel a lot. So as you know, we live full time. This is going in our RV, and I know we're going up and down some pretty rough roads sometimes, so we want to make sure that we have a good screw to mount this in. And I think that's about it for the unboxing and telling you a little bit about the AIRLOCK. So why don't we go inside, we'll get started, and we'll show how easy this can be as a DIY install for you. For today's project, we are going to be using Impact for any self-tapping screws we might need, a 9-in-1 screwdriver, some wire strippers, number 2 Phillips bit, a number 2 square head, a small round file, 2 Wago 3-position connectors for when we tie into our 120 volt system, the AIRLOCK, of course, a voltmeter, and the Fluke wire live testing pen to make sure we have our power completely disconnected, and some metal foil tape in case we have to clean anything up once we tear apart the interior of the air conditioner. Okay, so we've got our cover down. So where the AIRLOCK is going to mount is there, right here is the hard part of our roof line. So there's styrofoam behind here. You can kind of see it through that tear, which we're going to take care of. While we have this open, we'll do a little tape maintenance as well, but that's different from what we're doing with the AIRLOCK. But this is right about where we're going to mount it. This is where the fan, the exhaust down right here. So it shoots straight down here, goes into the 2 vents on the side, and this is where the air comes in. This is our diverter, and this is where the air comes down. So we're going to pull this out. Now, if you've never done this before and you've never worked up in here, this is a good time to take pictures. So we work on a lot of these, so we're pretty used to going up in here, but you're going to want to take pictures. You want to pull this down here. You just want to make sure that the foam is up at the top. Now I will tell you this, I've seen it where this reflective side is on the intake side and on the exhaust side. So never got really a clear direction on which it is, but I do know, and this being ours, that I've always put the reflective side forward. It if you think different, or you know different, or maybe you're from Eric Sell, who makes Coleman, flip bloop down in the comments and let us know that. But until somebody tells me different, I'm going to put the reflective side over here. But in the end, I don't really think it matters, because it's just a piece of foam. Okay, so now we're completely exposed, and right up here, we'll get Jen to come over a little bit, move the little step ladder out of the way. So we're going to take this control box down. And then once I take this down, but before I do that and go putting my fingers in there, I am going to take my fluke. And this tells me alive. So I've already turned off my power at the fuse panel, but I always want to play it safe just in case I got a bad breaker or something. So if I put this next to a 120 line, this will give me a tone. So this is my main power line right here, my 120, and I'm not getting that tone. So I know now that my power is off. So up here on the back, it's really hard to see, so we're not going to try to really film it, but there's these clips. You can pinch them like this. You pinch them and they go over some threaded wires. You can unscrew them, but you should be able to pinch and just pull them off. So, and now there's two of them. There's like two ears up here. So see if Jen can show you one, but it's right there. Now I'm going to grab it and just squeeze
on the top of that control box.
Yep, it's on the side.
On the side.
So we're going to pull that off. So now we've got both of those off. So now we're just going to slide the box off the screws. So you see that there's little ears right here. This is where they attach to. These two little ears. Okay, and then up there there's two bolts sticking out. You can, and that's where this slides onto. So just remember, your wires are always going to be down. So now, how we're going to do this is the wires that we're going to be using today. So we're going to slide this sheath up. We're going to unplug this cord. So this is the control box here. So right here, you push on this tab, and our cover will come off. And you do have a wiring diagram back here, so if you're comfortable with electrical, this is the wiring diagram. But this is how we work on a lot of Coleman. But this is how we determined what wire we were going to use as our power source, so our hot side of the 120 for this. So, and then we're going to be going in here for our other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this wire here, is the one we want. This is our neutral line. Okay, so I'm not going to reuse because I'm going to have 3 wires in here, so we're not going to reuse the white wire or the twist nut. And if you guys have watched the channel long enough, you know I'm not a fan of these, but this is factory connection. I'm not even going to pull the other ones apart. It's been working fine. If it ever fails on me, I'll switch to a Wago connector. I know some folks out there don't like Wagos, but I'm a fan of Wagos, so I use Wagos. These Wagos are for, we'll link a description or link it down below, but these are for the larger gauge 120 volt, so they're not the really small ones. So, but what we have to do is we have to maintain our connection for our neutral to the board. And so this wire here goes to the power source, or comes from the power source. This one goes back into the board. So we're going to click that in there. We're going to put this one in the middle here. And now when we get ready to do our other one, we're going to bring that wire right into here. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have room to get my new wire through here, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my small round file, just make a little channel right there, just big enough. All right, let's make our little slot for our wire. There we go. Just big enough for the wire to get through. So that wire will come through here, the neutral, and we'll hook into our neutral there. So this is the one that, for the Coleman, what we're doing. Now again, if you wanted to just hook it hook everything into power here, you would use the black and white. So the red wire, let me grab the airlock. So the red wire would go to the black because it's hot, and the black wire would go to the white neutral if you were just going to wire in direct. But so like we talked about during our unboxing is we're going to have this mounted right here like so when the air comes over it, and then our red wire is going to go up here on the pigtail. So when the box calls for the AC to start, the center black wire here has constant power on it. If it is not running, then it has no power on there. So this will be on, or either it'll be on when the AC's on and the fan's running, or it'll be off. So that's your main power, constant power when the board tells it to start up. So, and then it'll drop in based on what it's calling for, whether it's compressor, fan, etc. It moves to the other one. There's a lot of information out there on ACs, but today we're just talking about mounting the airlock. But we did want to let you know which wire we were going into. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this sheath back a little bit, and then we're going to get a hold of that black wire that's in the center. So you see that center one's black, and then we're going to bypass into that, and then we'll strip these wires back, and then we'll have a wire there, and then our red will hook in with the black up there. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do a starter hole here, and then we'll set the airlock. We'll slide it on. We'll do one side, then we'll go to the other. I think I said wood a second ago. This is actually aluminum. So we're going to come over here and all right, so let's back that up a little bit. Get this in here. Those magnets are kicking my butt. They're pretty strong. Good job, airlock. Okay, so our first one is in there. Now we got that side in. Let's get our other side in here. Alright. Now our airlock is in place. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take our cable, and it's got a lot of cable, so we're going to run it back behind the lag bolt of the mounting of the AC. And we're going to try to keep everything as tight as we can to the edge here. So that's another nice thing, is they give you lots of cable to work with. So we'll keep that all tucked in up there. There we go. And we're going to bring it around over here. Do the same thing. Tuck it in. Alright. Try to keep it up as best we can there. Alright, so now we're going to tie our connector in to our Wago. So our red connector is going to go to our black wire. So we'll put one on here, and we've got one. Oh, put that out of the way there. So we've got our positive side connected. Now we're going to do our negative side. Okay. Now our black wire goes with our white. And we'll push that back down in there, and see how the wire just goes right in our little slot we made. Now that that's there, we're going to take our cover, and we're going to put our cover back in place. There. so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our box put back up in place on there and get it up out of the way. Then we'll plug this into here after we get our box up there. And actually, you know what we'll do next? Let's just plug this in, and then we'll test it before we put everything back up and out of the way. We'll kick our breaker, we'll plug it back in, so our connector back into our box. We'll turn our breaker back on and we'll run it. We'll make sure the airlock turns on, and then just make sure the AC is running as expected. If it does, we'll turn everything back off, and then we'll put it away and we'll start buttoning this project up. But as you're seeing, so far it's pretty straightforward. You just need to be comfortable with electrical. And again, if you're not, find somebody who's qualified to do it for you. But so far, pretty easy project. I'm liking it. So we've got it turned back on. So we're going to turn on low AC. So now when the box tells it, you see the blue light just came on? It's kind of noisy. But the blue light's on, so now the airlock is functioning as it's supposed to. You don't see the magic happening, but it's supposed to be happening. So we're going to assume it is happening like it's supposed to. But what we were checking is we wanted to make sure that when we powered it on, the AC came on, the light came on. So our next test is going to be when I turn it off, does that light go off? Because we're following AIRLOCK's preferred recommended install, which is to only have the airlock come on when the fan is running on the AC. Again, you don't have to do it that way. You can have a continuous power source, but we want to get as much life as we can out of our airlock. And if the AC is not running, that's not running. So that's just how we're doing it. But let me kick the thermostat off. We'll make sure that turns off, and then we're going to kill our breaker and get this reinstalled. Signal goes from the thermostat to the control box, and there it went. So our little blue light went off, and we're ready now. I'm going to go ahead and turn the breaker off, get this reinstalled, and then we're going to button this all up. All right, everybody, you just saw us install the AIRLOCK One on our Coleman AC, following best as we could to the manufacturer specifications from AIRLOCK. We mounted it at the exhaust section. We mounted it to the fan wire so it would not always be on, which should extend the life of the AIRLOCK. Again, you can just go ahead and you can run that to power all the time, but the preferred method is to try to wire it into where it only comes on when the fan comes on for the AC. So we did that. So now we've been using this for a little while, and the results are in.
I could really tell the difference.
I could too, and I really, I'm not the big smell person. I'm a creator of smells, but Jen has the super sniffer, and she can really tell the difference.
So we have one on our unit in the bedroom, which is really what I used to smell, the musty. As soon as the AC comes on, I would smell the mustiness coming through, even though you do a good job keeping our AC clean on both of our units, because we've seen what can happen on other people's AC units when they let it go. So he's really been on top of it, but I'm still smelling the mustiness. Maybe it's because we're in Central Florida or
and the way
South
our camper's
Michigan.
Positioned with how the sun hits it and the coolness, there's a lot of humidity buildup in there.
And think about it, in the bedroom, that is a small space, closed up, and the AC going, you're gonna take in all those allergens, if there are any, and you're gonna smell all those musty odors if there are any. We also have a dog. We live in a small space,
Like I said, she's got a husband.
So my sniffer can tell the difference, and that makes me feel better because I feel like we're breathing in cleaner air.
Yeah, and we have 4 tanks on our rig too. So we have 2 gray tanks, 2 black tanks. That's 4 areas of just odors that can accumulate just from living in the camper full time.
And we're non-smokers, but we know some people that are smokers, and that smell tends to stay in their camper. So I'm wondering if they could really benefit from this unit. And so that being said, that is our review. That we definitely would stand by this product.
I think we could totally feel very comfortable giving this product a thumbs up.
If you want to learn more about the science behind it, go to their website, AIRLOCKUSA.com,
Yep.
and it'll explain exactly how the ion emitters work.
You can read so much about how this product works and how it can take the particulates in the air and just clump them together to make your filters work better and to just really eliminate those odors.
Also, if you want to try out this unit, if you go to the link below, airlockusa.com, and use the code Mission RV, you get $20 off your unit. So go ahead and do that. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below.
Yeah, and definitely if you decide that you do want a unit like this and you don't want to put it in, you can always go to myrvresource.com, rvtaa.org, and find a qualified technician in your area if you don't want to put your phalanges up in the ceiling and deal with the wiring. But if you're comfortable with that, this is pretty easy to install. It's pretty straightforward, and it was actually even a little bit of fun. So it's always fun doing improvements on your camper.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, everybody. Bye.
Bye.